Alrighty, hello everybody. If you are watching this video, you missed day 1 of our week 15 Foundations of Tech lecture. Let's get started. We're going to do a very small mini unit on interior design and architecture. So this is not going to take us very long compared to our transportation unit. Speaking of which, assignment 18, your transportation challenge, is due today, which is Monday the 17th at midnight. If you're watching this in the future, it's past due. Please turn it in so I can give you credit so you can do well in the class. I just want you to have an A. It's going to be really tough if you don't turn this in. Today we're looking at architectural drawing, and we're looking at assignment 19, which is to draw a room in your house. It can be any room you like. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. You should be able to use principles of architectural drawing to construct a working sketch of a living space, and you can reason about architectural and design decisions and why they were made. So let's go ahead and get started. For our warm-up, I just wanted you to look around you and see what you can see, right? Why might there be a bulge sticking out of your wall, such as the one you see right behind me? Obviously, that's not a design decision made for aesthetics or usability of the space, but rather for mechanical reasons. There's some kind of piping back there or an electrical component that needs to go there. So this is something I want you to start thinking about. How do we design a space while living with the constraints of certain building components that have to go in certain locations? Farther along those same lines, I wanted you to look for outlets and see how many there are in the room, and where there maybe aren't any outlets. Is there a wall where there aren't any, and why might that be? So if you were to go ahead and design your very own space, which I'm not asking you to do for an assignment, but which in theory we could do, you would be interested in these things. You'd be interested in how much can the buyer afford, what are their interests, how much space do they need, what kind of rooms are they going to want, how do you navigate each of those spaces, and what makes sense to put next to what. And last but not least, there's those mechanical considerations, right? Where's the heating going to go? How is the plumbing going to feed through the house? So those are really, really important to make the whole thing actually function. So you might start with something that's a plot plan. So you just look at the land itself and figure out where everything is going to go. Here's my house, here's the lot, and so on and so forth. Then you would go to a foundation plan. So we're not going to draw this in this sort of thing in this class because it's a little bit more advanced, but you would want to kind of figure out exactly what's going to hold up your house. What are the structural support units going to look like? Are they beams? We need some concrete. Where are the walls going? And all of those sorts of things. Further, please note how detailed the measurements are. We know exactly how long each section of wall is. This is going to be really important because everything we plan from there on out needs to be based on these measurements. You might want to make an electrical plan. So here we can see there's lights and switches and where everything is going to go. Ultimately, this should be done after you do the drawing plan, which is what we'll be doing in this class. But I figured I'd mention this as another kind of plan that exists out there that's important, but again, we're not doing. And in this case, the round things are lights. These guys here are outlets. And then you can see the S's are switches that can control outlets or lights or fans. So ultimately, one of the main takeaways is that all architectural planning must be a combination of design and constraints of structural and regulation-based necessities. So is there a regulation that requires you to have certain sizes for certain doors, have your doors open a certain way, you have to have space for an electrical component? All of those things are going to factor into your design decisions. Now, your guys' job is going to be to create a technical drawing of a living space. When you go to do this, you're going to need to have some special symbols. For instance, doors should be labeled as such. A door that opens outwards should be a straight line with a little arc connecting, showing you which way it opens. If you have a different kind of door, there's different kinds of symbols. This is probably going to be the most common, but maybe you end up using one of these as well. Windows can be labeled in a number of ways shown here. More importantly, for our class, it's sufficient to use the minimalist approach, which is to just draw a line that's perpendicular to your wall, and you would want to have your wall be a slightly thicker line. So maybe your wall looks something like this, and then when you go to draw the window, you would use a thinner line to represent it. So this would be my window, and then we would go back to drawing the wall, and we would use, again, a thicker shade to do that. So that would represent a window, and that's perfectly fine for the purposes of our assignment. Last but not least, you are going to need to include all other large items in that space. So that's going to be furniture, sinks, anything else. So make sure you try your best to make it clear what I'm looking at. For instance, if it's a sink, draw a representation of a sink. I'm not judging your artistic ability, but I am looking for it to be the right size. That's really important, that your drawing is to scale, and that it's identifiable. I should be able to tell that it's a sink. It doesn't have to be the prettiest sink of all time, but I should be well aware that it's not a table. And here's some other things that you might end up drawing. And again, just try your best to represent them from above so it's clear what I'm looking at. That's all that matters. So the assignment is posted on my MCPS under week 15 in modules. It's labeled A19 Interior Design. It's due Friday, May 21st, and is worth 22 points. You open it up, it looks like this. Again, I am asking you to pick any space within your dwelling that you would like to represent. It could be any space, it could be your living room, could be where you sleep, could be your kitchen, whatever. The only thing that I ask is, don't pick the bathroom. It's kind of small, or a closet. That's not really a living space. Further, you're going to need to adhere to the following rubric. I want to make sure that your drawing is neat. It includes all doors and windows using appropriate symbols. You include all furniture, all elements are to scale, and the dimensions are labeled. Now, note I say it does not have to be a conventional measurement method. So I do want you to measure so that everything you draw is to some kind of scale, but maybe you don't have access to a measuring device that's commonly used, like a measuring tape. Well, instead, what you can do is you can go ahead and measure whatever you've got. So for instance, if you look at the ceiling, I have some ceiling tiles above me. I can use those to measure, and I could say the room is 5 ceiling tiles long, and 1, 2, 3, 4 ceiling tiles wide. That's perfectly fine. As long as I indicate what I used, I will give you full points. Now, some things are better for measuring than others. Please try to be consistent. If you don't have anything like a tile to look at for reference, use your steps. So go heel to toe and measure out each part of your room and furniture, whatever else you're drawing. So those are your methods of measuring. Now to actually draw this, you can do so on paper. I recommend a gridded or graph paper so that you can draw nice, consistent, scaled objects. If you don't have any, blank paper will do okay. Just make sure you use a straight edge so that your lines are straight. On the computer, you can go to Really Sketch, which I've linked here, and this is a place where you can draw online using a grid. Please note that I would like you to include labels. To do labels on the software, you type what you want to say into this box here where it says example. So let's say I'm going to draw a line, and my line is going to represent the side of my room, and it's going to be 20 units, 20 tiles, let's say. So I would include 20 tiles as my label, and I would say text, and I would create this 20 tiles text that I can drop wherever I like. So that is how you use the software. It has lines and it has arcs. If you'd like to draw an arc, simply specify the center of your arc and where you'd like it to go, and then you can trace out from there all the way, and it only goes clockwise. So if you would like to draw over here, make sure you don't start your arc down on the left here, start it up here, and then you can draw clockwise. So there you go. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here for you. I hope you are done with assignment 18. If not, you really need to get on that. Otherwise, thank you all for coming, and I'll see you guys next time.